But it's, that has really, when that, for again, because Uber and Lyft has come about during my career.
Right.
And because, when I grew up, you don't get in the car with strangers. Like, now you call on your phone. You're like, hey, stranger, come pick me up. It's a weird thing. But we thought it was just going to decimate air driving. And we were like, this is it. This is the solution. This is the solution that we've been looking for. It's not enforcement. It's getting in the car with strangers and letting them drive.
The thing that you just said, though, should always be the goal. If you're
Absolutely.
On a Friday night and a Saturday night, if Pinal County Sheriff's Office was just able to just sit in the office and do nothing, that's success.
Oh, that is the measurement of success.
That is success. Not responding to domestic violences or fatals or whatever the case may be. But no enforcement action should always be the goal.
Oh, it's always what we look for.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
I will say that there's always been pushback from the higher ups in my previous career. How come you're not? It's like, well, actually, that should be the goal.
It's good, yeah. If I drive down the road, if I can, which doesn't happen, I think, in the history of forever, but if I could drive on Ironwood and Gansett, US 60, all the way down the Hunt Highway, not make a single traffic stop, people are obeying the laws. That's what we want.
Right.
Now that doesn't happen. I can't get a mile in each direction before someone blows my doors off.
Aren't you in an unmarked? See, that's the thing.
It helps.
It is the sort of thing where I do remember that where I had it unmarked for a very short period of time, because I being that I worked criminal interdiction, I said I want a fully marked patrol car. I want them to know that I was a police officer trying to pull them over. And the one time I had an unmarked, it was pretty sweet when people would just, and I was back in a Crown Vic days, so everybody knew Crown Vic cop car. Yeah, so I remember they'd blow by me. I'm going, didn't you recognize? Oh wait, no, never mind. I was in an unmarked.
Never mind, yeah. And I'm in a Charger, so it's, but again, Fridays with Frank has kind of blown the lid off of that.
How did that come about?
I was on Live PD for a little bit.
Okay. Full disclosure, I don't watch cop shows anymore. You know what I mean? Having done it for over a decade, I don't watch cop shows.
You know what's going. It's funny because I don't either. But I was on it. I was asked to be on it.
I'm familiar with what it was.
Yeah. So right before they stopped, they shut Live PD down for a little while. Right before that, I had a cameraman with me.
Okay.
So they take a video. I was working out in Casa Grande, just on patrol before I came to the traffic.
Was the cameraman with Live PD or was this just
with Live PD?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was Live PD. So they were riding with me.
Gotcha.
And then he would video and splice it together and give it to Live PD. So Live PD stopped, and so we lost that connection with the community of hey, we're out here enforcing laws. That's what we're doing. So the public information office for the sheriff's office employees that take care of all of our social media, except for the sheriff, he does his own social media. But the sheriff's office has two people that's their job. So they pitched it up. Hey, we want to do something traffic related. I just went to the traffic unit. Hey, we're going to do this with Frank. So they run it up the chain, from what I understand. It went all the way up to the sheriff. They want to do this. I was like, yep. And then they come to me like, hey, you want to do this? I was like, absolutely not. Well, the sheriff thinks it's a great idea. And I was like,
so you were voluntold.
So when do we start? Yeah. So, and now it started out, so Sam is the cameraman.
Okay.
He takes all the video. He does all the editing. He does everything. I put a little microphone on and I go to work.
And you do.
I don't have contact. I don't video. I don't do anything. I literally just go to work and Sam does everything. So it's funny because there was one of the First Amendment auditor people.
Okay.
Frank destroyed evidence. Frank doesn't have anything. Frank doesn't have a camera. Frank just goes out and works. And Sam,
I actually know exactly what video you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious how something can get bent.
Right.
So it's funny because they did a public records request and they didn't do a public records request on Frank. Frank doesn't have anything. So it's funny because and I haven't watched that whole video because I just don't care.
Right.
I don't. Whoever that is, their opinion means less than nothing to me. And as a practicing Stoic, he doesn't even exist in my world. Like, I just don't value his opinion.
I love it.
So, but yeah, it's so Sam does everything.
Okay.
Sam's a genius. Because
this shit is hard. This video editing and all, and again, I do tiny little bits. I'm not on the move or doing anything like that. It's difficult. It's hard stuff.
He is great at it. So Sam was like, right? I didn't know him at all. I didn't know him from Sam. He comes to the best receives the payments.
Oh my goodness! You can get nasty on here. Oh my god!
It's weird having something.
This motherfucker fire.
It's just so it's hard to get your groove in.
Right.
And so we rode and
ooh, I bet you nasty.
Took that compilation of everything and makes a video. And it's online. I think it's called The Pilot. The one with who we call Santan Cameron.
Okay.
So that was the first one that comes out, and we start getting a lot of really positive feedback from the community.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, hey, I want to do it again. And then it was again.
Is Sam an employee of...
Sam is an employee he's a civilian employee of the sheriff.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So he is, but...
Shout out to Sam.
Yep. Sam's awesome. So he is, as I say, he's created this monster. And it's, the first time I got recognized, it was like, hey, you're on the videos. And I was like, I am on the videos.
But on that note, though, I actually commend you fully for being open. And because back in my day, no, you're not riding with me. I don't want you to know my last name. I don't want you to see anything. No, stay as far away from me as possible. Don't talk to the press like that. And again, with both your number one and number two, Sheriff Lamb, obviously everybody's seen him, and Chief Deputy Thomas, I mean, he's got his social media booming, and then you, so you're out there a public figure.
It's crazy. I mean, everything from like really good stuff to really bad stuff. Death threats. Detectives are working threats cases on me. And just like you said, you always know, got my last name. So in this world, in the law enforcement world, we even call each other by our last names. It's great, because you forget someone's... I only know their last name because it's on their uniform, and that's just what we call each other. So it has always been that if someone, if someone knew my first name, there was someone in my circle. There was someone who knew me on a first name basis, probably not a dirtbag, probably not someone I had arrested, and so I was able to separate those people, and someone came up to me and said, hey Frank, hey, hey, remind me where I know you from.
Right.
Oh hey, you taught at HDN school for me 5 years ago. Okay, cool. Got it. You go in the most good ones. Cool. Now people come up to me like, hey Frank, and now I don't know, and I'm like, so it's weird that people know my first name, and for 20 years I was able to get away with people not knowing my first name.
You lived in obscurity for 20 years. Before I started this podcast and I started I understand completely. It's like I shied away from this stuff for years and years and years. I didn't want to be known. I didn't want to be seen, anything like that.
And now this thing has created. I mean, I'm trading actually. When I leave here, I'm going back to the office and so patch and challenge going to Canada to a guy who works for a police department in Ontario, and he's going to send me one of his patches, and I'm going to send him mine. So I sent stuff to Poland, I sent stuff to Belgium, I sent stuff to Denmark. They sent me stuff.
That's cool.
So it's awesome. It's like we're bridging this gap not only between citizens that have all this feedback, and I take selfies with people almost every day. It's so not only just a platform, but it's right here. I do the pen thing, and and I do this smoke and mirrors thing called DRE. And I'm psyched. I shoot really small groups, and that's it. And now people, I'm in a restaurant. People come up to me like, hey, can I take a selfie with you? My wife and I, or my husband and I, we sit and watch videos all the time, and it just blows me away. Like I am, to say that I'm humble is a disgusting and gross mistake. I mean, I can't believe, and Pinal County is, the citizens of Pinal County are so pro the sheriff's office, and so pro sheriff plan that by proxy they're pro voting.
Agreed. But the thing is though too, like, and again, it's pro freedom. It's, again, I run a cannabis podcast, and you're in my home, I'm not breaking into your house, you know what I mean?
No.
It's a matter of pro freedom, and this is what the people have chosen, so this is the laws we're going to follow, this is how we're going to enforce it, you know what I mean? And it's just about, but like on a public service level though, I think it's amazing, I think it's great, and I love having conversations with officers who are open like this and provide the public more insight into what they do than just what you see on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mini-series form.
And that's something that Sam does is, and it's funny because I'll go up to a car and the overwhelming vast majority of the people I stop are, yes or no, sir, sorry, either say it's a ticket, here's a warning, we both go about our day. It is nothing noteworthy. And then there's those people, when I see Sam smiling, I'm like, okay, this is, these are people that are overwhelmingly difficult for absolutely no reason except, like, they're just, I don't know, they're just a terrible person, they're having a terrible day, they have a poor disposition, they've had poor contact with cops before.
Right.
And, I've walked up to cars before and people shake them like, hey man, you got kicked by the cops before. Because I'm not going to kick your ass today. Like, I'm here, like, I'm super cool. You're, like, up here. Like, I'm down here, and you meet me, because I'm way down here. Like, I'm super cool. I don't, like, I'm just always, now, there are times, as you know, that you go into a situation, and you're authority. You need to take control of the situation. There are times, and I don't raise my voice in my personal life ever. Like, I don't have a temper. I don't yell. Again, I'm really as stoic as I can be in my philosophies. And that overwhelmingly, I try to guide my professional life now as much better than I was. I think we could probably both agree that we both got out of the academy.
Oh.
We were nowhere. I was, and I have a master's in leadership.
Okay.
So it's cool getting to be a student.
Yes, no, I agree. I love leadership.
So it's something that I'm always, and it's great because coming from Maricopa County to Pinal County, there is a gross difference in leadership. And being a student of that and looking at the things that Sheriff Lamb does in leadership is very different than what was up in Maricopa County. So it's, but being a stoic, guiding myself is in the way of really having ultimate control of my life. I'm not a super emotional guy to begin with, so it's really easy for me. But like I don't anger isn't an emotion. I don't. Very few people can elicit that response, and they're only people who are very emotionally upset. Like my best friend, my family. That's it. Besides that, I'm not.
That was the thing that I never understood, and I always did try to take it, was that person that you're pulling over on the side of the road, they might have just learned from their child. They might have just gotten into a fight with their spouse, in early cases. But at the same time, I would allow them to run their mouth. And I would just look at them and like, well, look, dude, are you mad at that you got caught, or are you mad at me? You know what I'm saying? And 99% of the time, it's just had a bad day, blah, 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 and just kind of let it.
Get it.
Now, the problem is that I did not live through not dealing with the evolution that you are, and every law enforcement officer out there right now, everybody is shoving this thing in the face. Now, listen, I firmly believe in filming law enforcement.
Doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me. I think it's everybody's right. And I think it's everybody should be allowed to do that. But there also needs to be a little bit of respect on both sides.
And there is none. There are people that, and they call themselves First Amendment auditors,
right?
Which is, it's bullshit. That is a bullshit title that you give yourself. But the guys that are down here, because they're terrible humans.
Okay.
They're terrible humans, and what they're trying to do is elicit a negative response.
Right, you're right.
With the catalyst of negative terms and cursing and all of this negative. And what they're looking for, which is awesome because how that is an emotional response from someone, possibly someone younger in their career, that, and they're looking for a response. That's great, man, but lions don't worry about the opinions of sheep.
Well, and I do agree with, and I have seen some of those videos where the person is doing everything legally correct, and in my opinion, absolutely, there are the ones that are just instigating a fight, and I don't agree with them. But when you do have somebody who's clearly just making it, I'm talking about the respectful ones. I'm talking about the ones that
great with that.
Yeah. Hey, walk up. Here's my card. Hey, if you got any questions, I'll be back inside, man. You have a nice day.
Do what you do, man. Yeah. It doesn't bother me.
Take your photos, and that I respect in law enforcement that understands, like, we're a free society. We're allowed to do those sorts of things. I do not agree with instigating a fight. I do not agree with those people.
And that's what's happening
the buttons
down here. And there's a video that came out probably just a couple weeks ago of a guy. I'm on a traffic stop, and they're there MFing me and yelling and screaming and doing everything, trying to, which of course divides my attention. Now I have a subject in the car.
So he was not related to the traffic stop?
No.
Okay.
No, right. They drive around and look for traffic stops and then harass cops. So I'm on a traffic stop with someone, and luckily the person I was on a traffic stop with was cool. I ended up giving them a warning. It was nothing. It's from a DUI task force. So I was looking for an impaired driver. Right. They weren't impaired. I'm like, hey, have a great night. But while I'm there, they hit me with a spotlight and blind me while I'm standing at the person's door. And I immediately engaged that person. So I'm like, man, you just hit me. That is absolutely, I draw that line in the sand of you cannot blind at night while I'm standing at the window of a car and think that that's your First Amendment right. That is not your right. Now you can stand there and video all day long. You can respectfully ask me questions. I don't know the position of the sheriff's office has created for me in this part of the fight is I contact people all the time.
You're the face.
Right. And and I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I've agreed to take on the responsibility. But respectfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yelling and cursing and shining lights at me while I'm trying to do my job. That is not good for a person. Yes. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I have other words too. Lots of them. Lots of them.
And it's just like, look, again, if you were curious about the stop or whatever, what are you doing that day? What's going on? It's not like, even if I was confrontational with somebody, I still wouldn't be cursing at them or anything like that, because this is not who I am.
These guys are absolutely terrible. All they do is look to elicit But
the problem is those that keep young officers are listening to performance. Absolutely, but that's not necessarily the case.
Sometimes it's just there's just we all know emotion. People have problems to have emotional response.
Absolutely.
And after going through my leadership program and having been sergeant at CSO, and prior to the whole evolution, I see myself as a better servant than when I had 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Right. I was this kid in school. And I can look back at myself, the young version of me, but with so much talent.
Of course.
But I'm still learning. I still deal with people. I still have people that are and before I started this third lesson of being more stoic. And, I think I took things personally. Yes, like you're going 100 miles an hour. You violated my laws. You know, and I think many years ago, I think I took that as a personal slight. Like you've done something to me personally, and more that I've been in this job, I'm sure that I've got more great at that, right? I think I've realized that it's and now I take nothing personally. I mean, unless it is directly related to my family. It doesn't exist. So it's like, yeah, man, you did something wrong. We're going to work through this as two dudes. We're going to work through this together and send you on your way. It doesn't.
The hard part for a lot of them experience the pollution from again, being 100% for smart pollution or training or funding. You want the cops, you lower that bar.
It's right. We're doing it right. It is, hey, we need more people. People don't know that. We have these requirements that are here, right? If we drop our gun here with all these extra people, well, that's great, but you're not going to get better.
No.
And who wants to? This job is. I mean, it's still great. It's still a fun job, and it's incredibly rewarding. And it's we do such good stuff, good work, and put bad guys in jail, put good people feel safe. Right? We do such good stuff. But we can do everything with that money. I don't make anything. And I don't care. I love this job.
I will admit that after having been out for 5 years and my mind does start to get tainted a little bit. And it does start to move away from the mass media until I'm like, no, it's not the way it is. And there are the good people out there. And it's just the fact that the bad ones are just, it's just on a loop. It's just on a loop of all the negative, of all the bad. And again, like what happened in Memphis, it's just on a loop. It's just on a loop. And that right there in and of itself, if you dive into the background of those guys, 2 of them never should have been employed by the police department. I don't know of a single police officer that has ever said, what they did was fine. No, what they did was atrocious.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
And you see that there were multiple issues along the way that were never dealt with, but because of staffing shortages, you couldn't get rid of these people. You could have averted a national tragedy had there been more people to backfill that position that were of high standards, that were of quality.
Or those people wouldn't have been there in the first place if they would have adhered to the standards that were originally set. And I think it's happening everywhere. It's just the way society's going. And I mean, and from what I understand, there were protests in Atlanta about them building a police training